Oh, when I heard it, I was in the midst of, building for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom at the White House, right? They don't have a ballroom. They have to use tents on the lawn for President Xi when he comes over. If it rains, it's a wipeout. And so I was with the architects that would design. It's going to be incredible. And they came in, they said, Charlie Kirk is dead. I didn't know what they meant. I said, what do you mean dead? Charlie Kirk was shot. And I said, dead.
Yesterday, you were at the 9/11 memorial.
An ominous, really an ominous, God bless the United States.
We were all watching that.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance was supposed to be with you. He went out to be with Charlie Kirk's family.
To my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
And you said you were going to award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is very nice of you. Any updates on this suspect?
I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him. Getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant.
Your suspicion was that he was radical left. And now you have more information. What can you share with us about his ideology?
Somebody that was very close to him said, that's him. But somebody close to him turned and, they said, whoa, the father convinced the son, this is it. And Pam Bondi is incredible, by the way. People don't know what a star she is. She's incredible. And it all worked out. The bottom line is they have somebody that they think did it. I hope he gets the death penalty. What he did, Charlie Kirk was the finest person. He didn't deserve this.
By the way, this is my other problem with death penalty. It takes too long, too many appeals.
Expensive.
It should be public. It should be quick. It should be televised. You could fund the government.
Kids to watch it.
You could have brought to you by Coca-Cola. And no, I'm not kidding. By the way, you know what? I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better. I want to see him on a public block and get him be publicly executed. At what age should you start to see public executions?
16.
I think you could do it earlier. I think you maybe at age 12.
You take one of these school shooters and they say, today we're going to publicly execute this person. Read off what they did.
Great.
And if you do this, this will be your fate. Ready, set, go. Boom. End of life. Done. So that why is this even a question?
He worked so hard and so well. Everybody liked him.
Doesn't matter who you voted for. This was a special person.
I mean, Joe Biden is a bumbling, corrupt tyrant who should honestly be put in prison and or given the death penalty for his crimes against America.
I feel like with Charlie Kirk, from what I witnessed, it's for you, it's almost like a family member.
Don said to me, he's sort of like a son to you.
It's time for a federal takeover of Chicago. We've been calling for this for quite some time. You bring in the tanks, you fly the drones, you send in the Marines. It worked in D.C., it will work in Chicago. Because the show of force is all that these good-for-nothing lowlifes, that's all they understand. What is Mayor Johnson going to do? Resist?
Charlie got involved 11 years ago, I think, and it's become a movement. And, I won youth. A Republican never wins youth, but I won youth. I will tell you, TikTok helped me, but he helped me with TikTok.
But young ladies, they have to shed themselves of the Jezebel spirit. They have to. The Jezebel spirit has just infected an entire generation of young ladies. This is one of the reasons why I talk about why Mary, the mother of Jesus, is so important to crush feminism.
He had a big impact on the election. I got so many young voters that no Republicans ever gotten anything close. I've never seen young people or any group go to one person like they did to Charlie. Mm-hmm.
So many people on the right have been just skeptical or at least a little bit negative on Taylor Swift. That's not a great role model for young women to wait all the way until you're 35 and just put your career first. It's a great chance for Taylor Swift now to get married and have a ton of children. Reject feminism. Taylor Swift might go from a cat lady to a J.D. Vance supporter. Submit to your husband, Taylor. You're not in charge.
And he didn't deserve this. He was truly a good person.
It begs the question, when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman. I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily wholesome. Jasmine Crockett, what skill set does she have? I think we all know.
You know, we have so many bad people, so many bad philosophies, ideologies, politics. His was basically just good.
Wow. So we need to be very clear that you're not going to get gun deaths to zero. It will not happen. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
I guess this doesn't help his family very much when I say this, but you know, in many ways, he's bigger now because of what happened. Out of really bad things, things can happen that can be good. He's a great man, and he's going to be more important because of what happened. They should have a trial the following day, as far as.
But do you know that they say?
I mean, you have in certain places that do it differently, they have what's called quick trial. You have a fast trial, a fast verdict.
Right.
Now, if he's guilty, we're going to have to keep him, feed him, take care of him. But in Utah, they have the death penalty. The governor is very intent on the death penalty in this case, and he should be. We have to make sure that happens. That was a horrific crime, but we have to have trials that go quickly.
Okay.
We can't have a trial like this guy. We can't have a trial that's going to start in 3.5 years from now.
There are lawmakers canceling their events this weekend. AOC on the left and a lot of lawmakers on the right saying, I'm a little concerned about doing a public event. As president, what do you tell them?
I say you have to go forward. You just have to go forward. We're going to Memphis. Memphis is...
That's the next city.
Deeply troubled. Deeply troubled. We're going to fix that just like we did Washington. I would have preferred going to Chicago because we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we'll do a few at a time. But we're going to straighten out the crime in these cities. So we're going to Memphis. I'm just announcing that now, and we'll straighten that out.
National Guard.
The National Guard and anybody else we need. And by the way, we'll bring in the military, too, if we need it. Well, the governor of Louisiana, that's the other thing we could fix up. I could fix that up in a week and a half. New Orleans is really in bad shape, and the governor wants us to go in. We'll do that, too. And D.C.'s a little bit different because I could federalize it if I want. You know, D.C.'s a little bit different. So we have a lot. We have actually more power in D.C. because it's, you know, I can change the mayor if I want. I can do whatever I want.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I can fix Chicago, much bigger than D.C., but we can bring in the military. We can bring in the National Guard. We'll do what we have to do. Who doesn't want it to happen? Like in Chicago. If you took a poll, do you want to have no crime or do you want to walk outside and get mugged or killed? You know, we hear about places like, oh, Afghanistan's so terrible. They don't have anything like that. That's worse than Afghanistan. And by the way, they have guns to protect themselves. If they didn't have guns, you know, the bad guys know that Mrs. Jones, who's 85 years old, is sitting in a chair with a gun in her hand. And they leave her alone.
The people we interview them, they say they want the National Guard. They want safety. In Memphis, they want it. So why not just go anyway?
The Democrats don't want it. Look, almost every city that's in trouble is run by Democrats. But, you know, they have professional agitators. They're professional.
Paid.
I had one the other night. I went into a restaurant, and this woman stood up.
Trump is the Hitler of our time. Free DC, free Palestine. Trump is the Hitler of our time. Free DC, free Palestine. Trump is the Hitler of our time. What do you want your legacy to be? Let's go. What do you want your legacy to be?
She wasn't serious. They get paid for it. They're professional from Soros and other people. And we're going to look into that.
What do we do about our country with that? Because we have radicals on the right as well. We have radicals on the left. People are watching all of these videos and cheering. Some people are cheering that Charlie was killed. How do we fix this country? How do we come back together?
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the left are the problem, and they're vicious, and they're horrible, and they're politically savvy. The worst thing that happened to this country, because I've already solved inflation, costs are down. Look at energy costs. You're going to have $2 gasoline pretty soon. I've solved just about every problem. But the worst thing that happened to our country is to allow millions of people in from jails, mental institutions, drug dealers.
Right.
But Mr. President, I remember we talked to you the next day after they tried to assassinate you, the first time. And it changed you. And you talked about your faith and how the American people, they're shaken this morning over Charlie Kirk, the school shootings that are happening. Yeah. What do you say to those people that are hurting this morning?
Well, I tell politicians, I really say, I'm a little bit of a fatalist, I guess. I say, got to do your thing. Or get out of the business and go into something else. It's a dangerous business. And frankly, it always has been. It always has been. My job's very dangerous. If you would have told me this, maybe I wouldn't have done it.
You guys got the guy, and he's in custody, and he's alive. Is the message to the right, the people that are going to go, I want revenge, not to have revenge? Charlie Kirk would not want revenge.
You want revenge at the voter
That's where to go.
But unfortunately, we don't have so many ballot boxes because they have mail-in voting, which is totally rigged. They do mail-in voting all over the place, which is rigged.
What are you going to do about President Putin? Because we just saw these drones in Poland.
Yeah, well,
more sanctions.
Thing, I mean, I'm not going to defend anybody, but the Poland's, they were actually knocked down and they fell into an area. But he shouldn't be close to Poland anyway. Right. I say, let's hug and make up. Look, there's tremendous hatred between him and Zelensky. Tremendous. I've always had a great relationship with Putin. This is the only war that I haven't solved.
What about interest rates? Because we're hoping Jerome Powell lowers the interest rate this month. If he doesn't, and you get to appoint someone, is it next May?
Yeah, I do.
Who would you appoint?
Well, and
what do you expect?
We have somebody that shouldn't be there. I call him Too Late. His nickname is Too Late, okay? Jerome Powell. Jerome Too Late Powell. Too late on the interest rates, always late. Despite that, we have the best economy we've ever had. The Democrats they're sick. There's something wrong with them. Our country is doing great. A year ago, we had a dead country. It was a dead, embarrassing country. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Mr. President, see these buildings? A lot of them in New York City you built.
I do.
That's called capitalism, not socialism.
Hey, pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?